Mayor Michael Bloomberg is now putting pressure on President Obama to actually use the State of the Union address as an opportunity to call for tougher gun laws. Bloomberg is also pushing Congress to close that loophole that allows people to buy firearms at gun shows without background checks. And Martin Luther King III, who was 10 years old when his father was assassinated, family members and victims of the tragedy in Tucson and other victims of gun violence all joined Bloomberg at the news conference today. And one by one, they described how guns changed their lives.
My son, Glenn Isco, was killed while buying bagels and coffee in a local store.
My son was shot and murdered.
I was mugged and shot by 16-year-olds.
My daughter, Emily, was shot twice in the back of the head on April 16, 2007 at the Virginia Tech tragedy.
I lost my daughter on Mother's Day. Something has to be done.
Tom Mauser was also there. He's the spokesperson for Colorado's ceasefire. His 15-year-old son, Daniel, was killed in the Columbine High School massacre. Tom, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. You're welcome.
First of all, I got to ask you, of course, about the shoes that you have here.
Yes, these are the shoes that my son was wearing that day at Columbine on April 20th, 1999. I got them back 5 years after the shooting, and I walk in his shoes. They fit me perfectly, and I do it to symbolize that I'm doing this, walking in my son's shoes to change our gun laws, change people's thinking, but also to kind of give a message to people that no parent should have to walk in their child's shoes in a way like this.
No parent should ever have to lose their child in the way that you and your family lost Daniel. There's no indication that President Obama will call for stricter gun laws or a change in the current laws here. And many people thought he would perhaps mention it at the memorial in Tucson. But you want to hear something from this administration and from Congress as well on this? Absolutely.
I think this case clearly showed that there are people who are gaining easy access to guns that should not have them. There's no reason the killer in Tucson should have had access to a gun. Especially when you look at so many people having expressed concern regarding his mental state, and we know at least that the police contacted his family, so there was at least some background, some authority involved in his situation. But nothing that he had done at that point kept him from being able to purchase the gun there. You have a lot of talk about these extended magazine clips. There was a ban that expired in 2004, and a lot of members of Congress are leery, quite honestly, of taking on people who are worried that somehow lawmakers are trying to take their guns away from them. And they look at this and say, we're not trying to take your guns, but who needs a gun that can fire 31 rounds in a matter of minutes? When you think of how quickly he shot people, I heard one announcer that day during the news saying, oh, that must have been an automatic weapon because nobody could use a semi-automatic and shoot that many people in that short period of time. Well, they did. It was not an automatic weapon. I think it took less than 15 seconds to fire off those shots. How could anybody stop him when it happens that quickly with that many bullets? Have you been disappointed in the president's approach to handling this gun debate, especially in wake of Tucson? I know, again, as I pointed out, you want to hear something in the State of the Union, and we don't have any indication that that will happen. You know, I think it's sometimes better to at least wait and not, at that time he was down there, get people all upset right then. But yes, now is the time to follow up on it and to really call us to question who are these people who are gaining access that shouldn't? Should we get tougher on this? And yes,
what
yes,
do you mean
we should.
By tougher?
I think we have to look at the loopholes like we did in Colorado. We closed that gun show loophole in Colorado where you could go to a gun show and buy from a private seller. No background check, no questions asked. We took it to a vote of the people. 70% of the people voted in Colorado and closed that loophole. That's a loophole in federal law, and we ought to close it at the federal level. Well, you were there with Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York City, who would like to see that loophole closed. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome. Thank you.